Okay. So, listeners, welcome to another episode of Growth Journeys. And for today, we are none other than but one and only Agustin Borrazas. Augustin, first of all, welcome. What's up? How are you doing?
I'm great. It's a lovely morning. Today's Thursday, and it's the good week. So we are kind of in holiday vacation for the next few days. So I'm really good. Thank you for inviting me to share.
That's my pleasure that you finally joined, because this webinar was planned for like 2 weeks back, but then it had to get postponed due to some complications and some confusions from my side. But yes, no worries.
So now we are here.
Yes, now we are clear.
Awesome.
Oh, okay. So, Augustine, let's just get to the discussion. And the start of the Growth Journeys podcast, every episode is with this one most important question, which I ask every single guest. And like the same question will be asked to you also, is that how exactly everything you started? Like how exactly you reached where you are, Augustine, we know right now at this moment. How did you become? What's the journey looks like?
You, you know, I'm old, right? I'm really old. So uh, so nowadays I realize when I take a look back, it's been more than 15 years. So if you go to college in your 20s, I'm 38. So if you take 18, it's like 20 years, which is like half of your life. So it's crazy. And yes, I took the path as like, when I finished high school and my bachelor's degree, I went to the university. I was 1 year left behind, so I started instead of at 18, probably I was 19, and I started studying social communication studies, which is a career path that you took. It's like 4 years of college, of university, and you can choose between journalism, advertisement, like cinema, or like internal communication. So you have like 4 different approaches to the, and I chose in that time to pursue advertising and publicity, and I liked the creative process, creating ads and campaigns and all that. But I took a different career path, and I left all that, and I became a monk, a praying monk in a monastery for like 6 years. So I left all the world and I went to pursue God and pray. And then I came back. When I was 30, I came back and I decided to study communication again in another university. So I studied this time more audiovisual and cinema and movies and video. But I took the thing again of studying and communication theories, and I started to be, without knowing, like a futurist. I started to study about the trends and the future. And I started becoming like an entrepreneur. And in that time, so it was like 6 years ago, around probably 2014. This is a really good one for the books. I came up with an app for Instagram, right? So this is like the thing, 6 years ago when Instagram was launching, when Instagram had its first version, the really like the old one. I found a glitch there, right? And the glitch was that Instagram didn't notify you about anything. And I wanted to know when someone uploaded a picture, and Instagram didn't give you that. So I started going to a co-working space where I met a team of developers, and I sold them my idea for 50%, so in half, and they make an app which it was called Inta at the time. Inta for Instagram. It was like a branding name, like the logo, and playing with that. So that app took 9 months of development. So it was like a child, like a virtual digital child. 9 months later, they came up with the app, and I started tagging Instagram in all the social networks at that time, letting them know that they weren't doing like a good job, because we came up with an idea that was really like successful. And I tagged them for probably 6 to 8 months. And then they didn't say anything. And in their blog announcement, they used to have like a blog where they announced everything. They said, we realized that we updated our app with the 3 dots. You can go and you can put the notifications on when someone uploads a picture. So I didn't get rich and I didn't get famous, but it was a really good one, a really good experience. And I went to United States to try to like sell the app or reach to Instagram, and my associates at that time, they didn't wanted to sell. But the thing is that I was testing around the product or talking to other people or investors, and they wanted to buy. So that gave me a real sense of what I was doing was in the right path. So we actually came with a second app. So we made 2 apps. It was called Lists. So it was, you make lists of hashtags or users in Instagram. So see, if you want to check only Messi, Ronaldo, and Neymar photograph, you can make a list of those 3 players. And if you want to see about shoes or bags or whatever, you make lists about shoes, and they can see shoes there. So, I mean, that was crazy. I don't know if I'm going fast forward or backwards, but I'm trying to make you some storytelling here. So we can tackle those if you want, but it's an interesting career, right? Now, looking 2 years back, since the pandemic and everything, I started my own business again, like my company, which is around social selling on LinkedIn and for IT companies, mostly trying to help them with the marketing and selling issues that they are having or facing, which is a common thing in probably any part of the world today, because I see it here in Uruguay, which IT companies are trying to scale to the US. I see it on the US, I see it in India, I see it in Europe, I see it that sometimes marketing and sales teams are not working like together, or they think that they are different roles or different areas, which is no, it's all related and it goes hand with hand, right? This is mate. This is like our tea or coffee in the morning.
Oh, that sounds interesting. And you know, like if I would go through this whole journey, like you started with social communication, then you became a monk for 6 years, and then you again like did that bounce back and again social communication from another university, and then the Instagram and Instagram thing, then one more application list, just create the list and all, and then your own company. I mean, and this is just like a small part. There probably will be 10 to 20 other things which have happened with you in the last 20 years, if I would say, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, sometimes I always like I really like to meditate or talk in this growth journey, and I really like stick to it in a way that I know my own like story, and I'm always telling it or repeating it, but it's true. It's like sometimes I try to make things clear to see where I was going, where I was headed, and nowadays what I'm like achieving, doing. Like it's crazy, but 2 months ago I started on national radio, having like a spot for 20 to 30 minutes, talking every Monday about the future. So I have a segment on national radio, which is AM, the short frequency one, and it's called Heading to the Year 2045. And I already have, so that, like you, now I have podcasts. So you can go to Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcast, whatever, you type my name there and you see that I come up. So it's like I still keep adding content to my digital footprint. So I don't know. I hope that someday that pays off. Right?
I'm telling you that will pay off for sure. Earlier, that is something which I saw in my life. Like I have been creating content, I would say it have been like 6 to 7 years almost. And you know, whenever I used to create that content, I just used to I had this question that what is just going to happen after I post it, or after a month or after a year, that content would just be forgotten. But guess what? It doesn't work like that. The world or the people or the social media will always remember that something like this is what you created. They will go back to it, they will consume it, and then they would comment, like, and will let you know in your DMs that I went through this video which you created 5 years back, 6 years back, and it was amazing. And at that moment, you feel like, okay, it is probably paying off.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
it happens. I can see it with LinkedIn, and well, you contact me through there, and we start engaging there. So the same thing happened 1 year ago or two. It was at the start or during the first months of the pandemic. I had this customer from the States, and she wrote me that she was out of a job and she wanted to work with me. She wanna become a Instagram influencer on beauty and health and whatever. And I started laying on my approach, and she eventually became my customer, and also like a really high end paying ticket, which was on the thousands of dollars a month. And when I asked her like how she came to me, and she was like, I knew like something about YouTube, which is at least my least social network that I use, and I have contact. And she says like, I read something that you make an app for Instagram or something like that. So it was like weird, because it's like so many years and so like irrelevant. But the thing was true, that she came sensing or believing that I could deliver and help her with that. And I did it for months, and I grow her organic her personal account in an organic way, without paying, without much publicity, and she made really good, and we were working for almost like 1 year. So that's great. It was great.
That's true. You know, like you, first of all, you will never know that how exactly the content which you created will pay off. But you know, like as you said, like you, like the people approach you or your company for the help which they need in marketing. So coming back to the marketing side or marketing strategies, I believe that is one of the strong forte of your company. So, you know, like I would like to start with this thing. Whenever you are creating a marketing strategy, what kind of objectives do you keep in mind, you know, which basically helps you to decide that how exactly are you going to create this strategy on the first place?
But I when I was preparing this conversation with you around the questions and everything, I always kept thinking, and I wanted to deliver some real value, which is nowadays everything is so uncertain. And I think I have a different approach to everything in life, like nowadays with social media and marketing and strategies and everything. When I have clients that approach me, sometimes it's not just for my own good or selling them the service. It's like nowadays I became a little picky in a way that first I would like to make an audit of social media channels and everything, but also like see if the other person that wants to work with me, with us, with the company, if they are fit in the mental state and everything of knowing that everything changed, and nowadays the measurement and the results and everything is just like different. So it's like, it's not that you come here and it's like, I need to sell my service and my product. I want to market it, and I want to have 10 leads or 10 customers per week or per month or per year. It's like, that's nonsense, because everything changed in a way that you are not allowed, or you are not entitled to sell. That's from the past. So nowadays is, you need to show up, deliver good value, deliver service, deliver freebies, deliver stuff, talk about the subject, and become like the knowledgeable that is there to talk about that subject. And then, just after then, you see, when someone is ready to buy for you or something, they saw it, or they have 12 touch points that take them to make that decision. So they have to see you 12 times, which is too many times. What I'm trying to say is, like, you don't worry about selling. You worry about showing up. And then eventually the sale will come. The other thing that I realize nowadays is word of mouth. We still live in a society, in a place, in a planet that is like, word of mouth is important, or like recommendations, right, from one to other, because people buy from people. Even businesses buy from businesses, but people are doing businesses for those businesses. So people at the end is what is important. And you need to nurture, lead, and to cultivate relationships in a long term. Because it's not that, okay, Tushar, I have this marketing course, I will sell it to you for $200, that's it, pay me, see you, bye-bye. No. If we deliver our relationship probably with time, no, it's like, you will start paying me $50, then you will pay me 200, then you will pay me 1,000, then you will pay me 10,000. You know, that's an ideal, but I'm saying how you develop that. Really caring and trusting and building like a relationship for the long term, not seeing just like a number and said, okay, he will give me $1,000 for 12 months and that's it. So I really think that my strategies, or strategies in general, are like, they're tending to change in that way, because I see so much around business in the United States, and people and marketing agencies and everything, and it's like, you can go and have the same results like everywhere that you choose to like do it. But the thing is, like, you need to be really aware of the people and long-term relationships and how to develop that. I see it with the software companies, that they have clients that you need to have kind of PR and everything going on to, you know, make it long last, and not just trying to have a success case. So yes, I think that that's a really good like strategy to, yeah, to take the weight out of the equation, and that you know that you have to deliver and the results and everything, but trying to invest in time. Nowadays, time is the most coveted or appreciated asset, right? I think it's time.
And no, so I think so. I would of course agree on that part because one of the basic characteristics of planning and strategy, like when I used to study business, I read this that the one of the base characteristics of planning and strategizing is flexibility because these plans or strategies are based on the assumptions which you had made for the future at that moment, which can be right but can be wrong at the same time. So if your plan or strategy is not flexible, or if you yourself are not flexible, it is not going to work. So I would completely agree on that part. And specifically the part where you said that you are trying to create and to build, to nurture that long-term relationship instead of just seeing the number for the short term. Do you think a lot of businesses make this mistake? Like they just see the number and don't try to go for the long-term relationship?
Yes, I don't know what happens sometimes in the middle, right? In between. But now that you are talking about that, I see it in a way like, let's talk about consistency, which is what you've been bringing. And I always try to reinforce consistency is showing up every day with your marketing plan, with your social media channels, with everything that is to be done. So if you plan to post Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and you start doing it, and then you see that it's not working, and you feel down, and you said, I will stop it, and then you don't post for like 3 months, and then you come back with the same strategy and say, no, it's Tuesday and Thursday and Saturday, so you do it. So it's like, I see that sometimes even marketing agencies and everything, like big names, big brands, they try to communicate and whatever, but sometimes they are just quiet there and they are like stalled. So they are like, I think it's more harm that they do to themselves, not to like showing up, that to try to be super cool and strategize it and do it in a way that it's actually really disruptive. So I like the flexibility part, but I also like to see how consistency pays at the end. And in my own experience and working with clients to trying to be there with the schedule and everything, when I start working on onboarding a new client, I always say, if they want to start something from zero, right, to create like the brand and start posting on social media channels, whatever, I'm always saying it's like the first months and the first year, I mean, you are laying the foundation for the content. So it's like, you don't have to go nuts that you started 3 days ago and you posted a 9-picture grid on Instagram and it's growing 100 a day. It's like, wait, this is like, you started 3 days ago. It's like, there's no magic there that, oh, there's gonna be 10 clients or I want 10. No, it's like, no, it's like, first you have to do that for like 3, 6, 9 months. And then after the foundation is based, and that's why I took this niche into social selling, because I saw it around LinkedIn and was not paying that much attention. And social selling, it's like, if I go and Google your name right now, Google will throw me the first result is LinkedIn, then it's YouTube, then it's Instagram, then it's Facebook, then it's Twitter, then it's that. So the social links, and I check them. And if you haven't posted in 15 years, you are nothing. You're not saying nothing. And if you posted yesterday, and I see the consistency in the brand, in the hashtags, in the colors, in the lettering, in the fonts, it means that you know what you are talking about or what you're doing, or it knows that it can be taken as a success. So yeah, that happens. And it's really up to how people really want to work. I try to do it. I'm not saying I do it and I get 100% guarantee satisfaction of what I do, but it's like, at least I'm trying, and it changes every day. The other day, I saw on LinkedIn, and it was this like Twitter from I don't know, famous, whatever. It says like, me as a social media marketer on 2014, I know if I post this at 9:42 a.m., the return of investment is going to be blah, blah, blah. And it says like 2022, I don't know shit. It's like true. It's like true. Probably 6 years ago, around metrics that if you post at 11 a.m. on Facebook, we're gonna engage. Nowadays, it's like, it's hard. It's hard to tell, right?
I would really, I can understand this thing, because this is something which I had also experienced, like when I was creating content in 2019 and 20 now. I knew that, okay, if I'll post at this time or around this topic, the engagement is guaranteed. But now, fast forwarding it to 2022, nothing, every single thing is uncertain, no certainty in anything. So, I would agree on that part for sure. And, I love that point about the consistency or like showing up. I would agree on that part, but like, isn't it like a common sense thing which already every marketing agency or business owners know already, that they have to show up every single day? Otherwise, people won't know that who they are, or people will just forget it even if they know.
Yes, but you're saying everyone knows that, but everyone does that. That's like the thing. We all know really much. And I work with clients that we all know that we need to show up, but we still don't show up. So what's happening there? Sometimes it's weird, right? It's like, that you have to be consistent and be there and show up. And it's like, okay, what are we posting today? And it's like, no, because you need to play probably in advance that what you are working today is for the months to come, and plan everything and execute. Sometimes I think that is for the workforce, employees, or sometimes I realize working with IT companies that if they don't have a marketing team in-house or in place, even if they outsource whatever, what I'm saying is that sometimes they send the human resources girl to post on Instagram at 8 o'clock in the night. So it's like, because we forgot today that we needed to post. So the human resources girl that is working there as a temp goes and do it, which is like weird, because then you lose the chain of command or people, or so it's like, sometimes I'm guessing or thinking that the workforce is kind of I'm not saying not ready, but it's like companies don't want to pay, or when they realize that they need to pay, sometimes it's kind of late in that way, and you have to see how to manage all the other points that are there like that, but that you need to be like taken care of. So
the break of chain of commands. That is one of the issues which I had personally saw in a lot of agencies. Like everyone is majority of the time doing everything. Like that particular structure or SOP, whatever you want to call it, all those new age terminologies. But at the end of the day, it is a process, it is a plan which should be there for that smooth workflow, which a lot of time companies or agencies try to create, but execution is just something where majority fails. And even after education, maintaining it, like that maintenance in itself is a something where people have to focus. I had saw some agency owners, I had saw some business people who had created this kind of plan. They executed it successfully, but when we talk about the maintenance part, they think once it's executed, now everyone will follow it for sure without any problems. But they always forget this one thing, that maintenance in itself is a task which we can't ignore. Because if something is not maintained, it will stop working after a point of time. Like, any thoughts on it?
yes, so yes, probably, and you touched there a point that is everyone like it's doing everything, right? And here in Uruguay, sometimes it's like a topic on LinkedIn when there's this agency looking for like a junior marketing sales, and he has to do like everything, like strategy, content creation, posting, scheduling, taking care of the messages. And it's like sometimes they don't know that they are looking for a whole agency to do that, and you need 5-6 people. That one is the creative, one is the art director, one is the graphic designer, one is the video production editor. I mean, so I don't know how it's gonna change or how it's changing. We hope that it's changing. Even if I have my own business going on and stuff, it's like sometimes I'm still looking for 8-hour jobs in a company, blah, blah, blah. So it's like I send out resumes and everything, and that's when they tell you that you are overqualified, that you are so senior that they are not going to pay you. And it's like, I just need a job. It's like, I need to work. It's not that I'm overqualified. It's just like, you think that this is cheap, and this stuff is not cheap, or sometimes it's not cheap. So, and I'm seeing it on like billing hours or sending the proposals. I mean, marketing and everything, it's around the thousands of dollars. I mean, it costs money. It costs money. So yes, I don't know where is that there that they don't want to pay, but they later end up like paying. It's like, it's hard. So it's like, I came with around this post of a company. They were looking for a media buyer, and they want, so they checked my resume. I was like, hey, can we have like an interview? It's like, yeah, okay. And they sent like a short form to complete. It's like expected salary and blah, blah, blah. And I said like media buyer, everything. I said like $3,000. Yeah. And they were like, no, we are not even near there. That much. It's like, you are looking for a role to what? To pay them what? $200, $300 to do something which is like takes. So it's like, if you don't want to pay, say that it's like, no, we only need you for like 1 hour, and we have $200 to do. Also, like, you understand that, because if you're looking for a role, like for a full-time role, it's like 8 hours a day, blah, 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 even if it's remote. I mean, nowadays, everything has become a little bit more expensive, probably. So I don't know. It's like, yes, I think that that's the part with, they don't really know how to measure that sometimes, right? If they are investing in social media, in marketing, in a team, in different roles, they think that they are paying, and they are not seeing results, because results take time and take like a lot of time. So it's like, it's not that you put 5,000 today and I promise that tomorrow you will have 10,000. No, it's like, you will probably pay 5,000 for a long time and you won't see any results. You won't see nothing. But the thing is that you are showing up and you need someone like to show up. So what do you think? I think that the business has come to that, right? Like, people need to understand that if they want to make that serious step, they will lose some money, or no, or they will probably gain it, but in a long run. It's more like a marathon, it's not a sprint. Right?
Yes, for sure. Also, there is one question from Ricardo. He's asking that he got the point basically that, okay, we have to be consistent, but like keeping this consistency is hard for the founders who have like a very reduced team, which is mostly focused on product and fundraising, and the budget is also very limited. What should we do in this kind of situation to be consistent according to you?
That's where you hire me, Ricardo, and I will be consistent for you. That's our motto in my Medianero thing, my company. It's like, we manage the time for people that don't have time. And it's true. Say so, no, but yes, honest to be to the question. Thanks, Ricardo, for that. It's like, if you are a founder and you are busy and you don't have the time for the consistency, it's like, try to outsource it or hire someone, or just like planning in a way. So nowadays, and we haven't talked about this that much, and we are coming to the end of the hour, which is, we know there's a bunch of automation software, and so choose one. I can recommend a few later. We talk private, which is like, you choose one automation like software company in marketing, and let's see, you have 3 blog posts. You feed the blog posts, and that AI will come with titles for your post for 60, 90 days. So it's like, machines, they help. It's like, I don't do it. Like, I try to work around it and do it. And if I have clients that they need, we do it. But I still believe sometimes in the organic method, that is you behind the computer with a keyboard and a mouse, and you just go type and post, which is like old school. But nowadays, you have these AI platforms, AI software, where you feed the text, you feed the post, you feed everything, and they will come up with 90, 120 days of content. And of course, there you schedule it, you post it, you press enter, and you forget about it. And then if you one day remember that it's a Thursday, you go and check and see if they are doing the things right. Probably don't, but probably yes. So just do it. But it's true, right?
I would, so this is something which I had also started to do till a good extent, not like the traditional way, but the automation way. And like I am seeing a lot of creators who are using these automation tools basically to help them to be consistent without spending a high amount of time and with less cost, because hiring a person is more costly comparing to just paying a subscription of like 1 month of an automation software, I'd say. Like the comparison, if you do, of course, if you have enough budget to hire a person, Augustin is there for all of us. But if you don't have that much budget, we can always go for this automation tools. I mean, it won't, of course, completely end the work of creating content or being consistent, but it will decrease the time which will require, which normally is required. Like if you are spending 4 hours to be consistent on normal basis, after automation, it can decrease to 2 or 3 hours or like even 1.5 hours, which is way better than spending 4 hours if we compare it. So why not do something on those lines? Because consistency at the end of the day is important, which we can't ignore at all. So I would agree on that part. And with that, Augustin, final thoughts and suggestions from your side for all the marketers or business people who are listening to you.
Thanks very much to Ricardo again, because he was the brave one to break the ice with a question, and I really like it and enjoy it because I feel that those are the pain points when we talk. So when we talk about pain points, it's what is your customer client experiencing on a Sunday night that they cannot go through like a Monday morning, think about it. And I think that question that Ricardo made, it was like one of the pain points, because founders, and I sometimes that's my niche of like founders that are struggling with the content, like to come up. Yes, and he says that is our biggest challenge as a founder right now, and it's true. So I hope that I can have the perfect recipe as an answer to say to him, 2 + 2 = 4, go have a great day. And it's not that easy. So what I'm saying is like, of course, social media. So I work with social media a lot and marketing, and I already feeling that it's 14th of April 2022, and I don't want to see any other social media channel again in my life. So it's like the time consuming and everything that you are there. I'm just saying, if you're on Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn, you can go nuts. So it's like, that's only 3 social media platforms. I'm not talking about TikTok or whatever. So what I'm saying that is like, if you don't have the budget, the resources, or the people, probably first, you need to know what your strategy is around that area of marketing. So marketing is a really big leg of what you are doing. It's like everyone is doing. So if you are not going to pursue it in a proper manner, wait and don't do it. You will probably have to wait, and then you will realize that when it all comes to fruition, it's like, okay, I need to show this up. I need to go out there into, okay, you will need to spend money in a marketing team or in outsourcing or having like funding someone that just keeps your content there, or what we were talking about, you find a subscription fee and you pay a platform like to do that or whatever. But it's like true that nowadays you will have to come up with better thinking of like strategies, like to, you know, see at the end how you collaborate with your own resources, or like human resources people, or how you collaborate with the machine kind of thing. Also like, right, like how can you take the best of the two parts of being as a human and being as a machine, and you can like teach and go around that place of collaboration. I think it comes up to that. It's like, how can you micromanage your time for the better results? The other thing is just sometimes don't sweat it. If it goes that way. If it don't, you will have to stop, learn, listen, and then go back to it. But yes, it's a thing that I found the most interesting, that there are challenges to go ahead around teams and the production and everything that really you want to develop, but marketing and selling, those two parts go and work together all the time. So you need to be clear on your head of like, how do you want to make it? But sometimes you need to double check that it costs money or people or resources, but it will come to be a good investment if you pursue it accordingly, right? So if you have any other question or everything, I'm here to answer that.
Yeah, so like, like that's it for today's webinar. Like when this, of course, webinar or podcast, both will be released, I will share the links. I will like drop your LinkedIn in the description so that people who are listening to it, people who are watching it can contact you. And you can expect some questions in your DMs for sure in the upcoming days. But once again, Augustin, thank you so much. Sure, you will. And with that, thank you so much. I will see you guys another time. Till then, bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. Have a great day today, okay?